Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. My name is Louisa and I help high achievers, entrepreneurs and coaches lift the lid on life and business so that they can live at their highest value. Each episode we will bring you our favourite founders, CEOs and guest experts to share with you their insights and strategies to expand your wealth consciousness, your spiritual leadership and aligned business strategies. We know that living in alignment with your soul's mission is what fulfills you, and we are here to show you how to achieve this in an energetically aligned way. If you haven't already, be sure to claim your free abundance activation in the Akashic Records. Go to louisahavers.com/gift to unlock your abundance activation today. And if you'd like my support in having aligned success in life and business, then contact me at www.louisahavers.com and let's explore together if it's an aligned match. Get ready to live at your highest value and to expand into your next level of money as you elevate and receive more. You create more for others. Righty ho, let's dive into today's episode. Before we dive in, I'd love to give a shout out to our sponsor, Samantha Selby, the astrological energy healer. Samantha helps spiritual entrepreneurs to reveal, heal, and activate their feminine and masculine energy so that they can embed a solid inner wealth and self-value, meaning they enjoy loving, respectful relationships and the freedom to choose what they do with their valuable time and energy. You can check out Sam at samanthaselby.com. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our episode this week. This week, we're talking about the yin and yang of your business leadership. Creating balance for more success and ease with the incredible CJ Rivard. CJ, a huge welcome.
I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Louisa.
Thank you for coming and joining us and for sharing all your wisdom and expertise with us. I cannot wait for us to dive in. For those that are getting to know CJ, I'm going to share a little bit of an intro so that you can get to know her. CJ is a business success coach, an advanced Helix Method mentor, yes, an emotional intelligence specialist, and she helps conscious female leaders and entrepreneurs align their identity, energy, and actions in order to create the fulfilling business that they envision and their most expansive and abundant life. She blends a potent combination of energy alignment and manifestation techniques, emotional intelligence training, and tactical business strategies from over 25 years in executive leadership to help clients rapidly shift energetic blocks and subconscious limiting beliefs so that they are able to share their vision, voice, and talents and amplify their influence and impact. Wowee. I love it. I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with you. So I always love to understand a little bit about how people get to where they are today. So let's kick off with, tell us a little bit about your journey. What made you start your own business? How are you doing what you're doing now? How did you get here?
Oh my goodness. So I'll try and give you the Reader's Digest version because it was quite a journey, not a direct flight. I had a number of layovers. So it started honestly about 10 years ago when I had been a hotel general manager for quite a while. And I'm also a mother of 4. And at that point, they were starting to be teenagers. And you know how that involves a little less of your time or different types of time anyway. I just started thinking, okay, well, what now? What's next? I feel like I was very fulfilled for a long time, but there should be more. I felt like, I was meant for more, but I didn't know what that meant. So fast forward, I took a huge leap leaving the hotel industry and made a couple of pit stops along the way, figuring out what didn't work. And I didn't even know what coaching was at the time. So I couldn't have gotten from there to here directly. It was just a series of learning experiences and things that led me here. And I just could not be more thrilled with where I've landed. It felt like I have gone full circle. I started out with a degree in psychology thinking at one time that I was going to be a counselor or a therapist or something. And then I thought, no, I don't, I don't like digging up all of the past. I want to go forward, which is kind of what coaching does. And it just felt like such a right fit. So I'm really excited to be bringing everything that I've learned over my career and all the skills I've developed into play in my business now. It's a lot of fun.
So exciting. I love your journey. It feels very like mine, CJ. I started with a psychology degree and started going down that path of counselling too, and then pivoted. So I really resonate with what you're saying there. And as you were reflecting, because as you were sharing all the things that you've done in terms of that 25 years in executive leadership and helping people to change their whatever is holding them back within their business, what I was really intrigued to find out a little bit more about what you meant about, because when you said let's have a conversation about the yin and yang of business leadership, I was like, oh, this feels so juicy. So I'd love let's help everyone get on the same page. Can you explain what you mean by the yin and yang in business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know your audience understands that we have the male and female energy and everything, but I feel like not just from my personal evolution in business, but what I have seen over and over again with clients and just in the online world, there's just so much focus on what I consider to be the male dominant energy and traits. When I started a long time ago in the business world, in the corporate world, I was very assertive and, just go, go, go. And I am woman, hear me roar, which ironically was very male, male energy. And part of it was probably my insecurity as a young woman in the workplace, feeling like, I want these people to take me seriously, and all of that upper echelon are male. So, I need to show up like this, more assertive. But as I became more confident and kind of matured into my own management style, it became a lot more female energy coming into it, more time nurturing relationships, which really has a huge impact, whether you're male or female, on your ability to lead. So from my perspective in business, the really male traits that we're all taught to lean into is the go, the hustle, doing mentality, and the quick decision, take action, drive for the results, which of course we have to have in business. We've got to have the results, and you have to take action to get the results. But, we want that beautiful balance, like the yin and the yang with the female energy. And I see that as a few things. First of all, being, I feel like, is more of the female, and we have to be before we can really do and create. But time, to become that person that can really create those beautiful results you want. I feel like creativity and intuition are very much the female side, which we want to bring in. And it's in the corporate world, at least the world that I lived in, there was no discussion about intuition. That just wasn't a thing. And that's how I was raised. You want to be analytical and left brain and, none of this stuff that doesn't make any sense. But of course, this audience knows that you have to tap into and really trust your gut and follow it. And that's how you take those aligned actions. So I think that is missing from a lot of the business education and focus. I think that really managing our energy, I think of as more feminine, although maybe it's a balance, I don't know, but it's definitely missing in a lot of business. And obviously we know that, if our vibration is an incongruence, then we're going to have trouble creating and hanging on to whatever it is we're trying to create. But lastly, and the part that really, really has to resonate and hit home with leaders, relationships are the foundation for success. The really, really skilled part of leadership is being able to develop empowered relationships. And that, I don't think that gets focused on enough. People really, dive into the strategies and the tactics, and that's all. Yes, we have to have them, but that's the male side that everyone's talking about. And it's the relationships that make the magic and make it, because we don't live and work in bubbles. Even as solopreneurs, we're always in relationship. And so really leaning in and making those empowered helps us to expand our influence and our impact and really make that big wave of impact that we want to have in the world. So
there's so much there. Thank you for sharing that, because I think the listeners will be nodding along going, yes, I hear you on the emphasis in the masculine side of things. With you're successful when you're doing a lot of things. There's a lot of production and a lot of hustle, and I always think that when we're in that energy, we're never complete, because there's always more to do, if that makes sense. And somehow, let me know if this resonates with your experience, whether you found clients feeling guilty if they stop doing things and they try and bring that balance back with being a little bit more feminine alongside the doing all the do's that we need to all the things that we need to take care of as CEOs of our company. Have you found that, people's emotions, what's been bubbling up for, whether this is your own experience or clients' experience, being able to have that balance between when you're balancing the yin and the yang and the emotions that then can bubble up as a result of that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that there can be a lot of guilt, because we are taught you've got to be busy, you've got to be doing, you have to create. And especially as a business owner, if your business isn't where you want it to be, you got to be on that hamster wheel, go, do. And I find, that's a lot of push energy that can be repelling at times.
Yes, it really
we
can.
We have to create, we have to take action, but we have to slow down and tap into our higher consciousness, as I've learned from you, and really make sure that those actions are aligned. So even that balance when it comes to action taking, yes, there's the doing, but is it doing in connection with our intuition and how we're really being led to find that, that 10 or 20% that's really going to move the needle forward.
Yeah.
Because all action is not created equal, as we know.
I like that. All action is not created equal. What have you found? And I know this, I just want to bring this into the conversation because you mentioned about, learning to channel higher realms of consciousness. And I think it would just people would love to hear, as you've brought more yin into your business and you've started to channel higher realms of consciousness, what's that felt like for you as a business owner in terms of the joy and the peace and the happiness in your heart, thinking about the feminine results of success that we all actually want to feel when we're running successful businesses?
What's that felt like? Well, as you know, starting to tap into my intuition, I argued with myself a lot because, we can be led to do things that are scary, but we just need to do them. Or, it requires a lot of trust, and sometimes bravery, but especially trust to follow your intuition. But I don't know, for me, that just so much joy and pride in doing, especially the hard, scary things, and, moving forward and having it work out and thinking, oh, this is what I had to do. Thank you. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. It just, yeah. And if you don't get quiet, and tap in, you can miss that so easily.
That's so true. There's so much there with what you've said, and being able to go within, be quiet so you can hear that higher wisdom that then feeds the right action, so that we're not on that busy hamster wheel of doing. And so we're not, I often find we can fall into that trap if we're on the hamster wheel of really hiding behind the busyness of our business, if that makes sense. And it's actually creating a mask for us to not look at the things that we need to look at, so that we can allow, as you described, the yin and yang in our business. So we've got some space to go within and not to feel afraid, because we're, actually going to look at it, take a look at the things we need to look at.
Oh, yeah. That the self-reflection, it can be quite scary. And that takes some time and some slowing down, and some emotional maturity. To be able to reflect and not beat yourself up, and look for those areas you can improve and lean into, and then to do it even when it feels scary.
Yeah. There's so much, I think, that we can use, with what you've been saying in relation to getting the balance with the yin and the yang of the business, so that we can have more ease and feel the balance, not only in, as a leader in the business, but also in our family lives, because that can have a huge impact on every member of our family if we haven't got that balance right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of the things that, just to dive into this a little bit more, because you were talking about the different emotions that you were feeling, and how that is impacting your joy within business, is because emotions, as human beings, we are emotional creatures. And I know you talk about this a lot, about emotional intelligence. So I'd love to hear your reflections on, emotional intelligence. What has this got to do with it in relation to what we're talking about?
Love talking about emotional intelligence. So it just as a little descriptor, in case anyone's not familiar with it, basically, because we are emotional creatures, I consider emotional intelligence really encompassing all of our people skills. And different than IQ, we're not born with it. It has to be developed, or it can be developed, but it isn't always. And it can also decline. It doesn't just get better. There was a study going back to 2020 and 2021 where the study group, their emotional intelligence actually went down over those couple of years by
Wow.
like 5 percentage points. So it isn't a set thing. But the good news is that if we are intentional, we can always improve it. So there's 4 areas that I talk about with emotional intelligence, and I think you'll see how these are tied into to everything that we do in business and our energy management and everything. There is our individual awareness of our emotions, and then our individual regulating of our emotions, which we can always get better at. And I like to talk about this around personal power, because if we're not regulating our emotions, we react rather than respond, and we completely lose our personal power and abilities to interact in certain or influence in circumstances. And then there is our ability to recognize emotions in others, and then to manage our relationship with others for the best possible outcomes for everyone. So it really is our leadership abilities, self-leadership, and then our interactions with others.
Yes, self-leadership. It is all about, we lead ourselves first, don't we? And then that ripples out to our leadership, how we're showing up with our peers, in our communities, and so on. So I'm hearing emotional intelligence has got everything, everything to do with it.
Kind of covers it all. And, as we talk about energy, our own frequency, of course, that goes into the individual awareness of our emotions, and then our ability to choose our thoughts and raise our frequency. It's all very interconnected.
It really is. One of the things, and I know that you know this, but just to speak to this for a moment, that I think has been so fabulous, and I know you use this with your clients as well, is being able to use our Helix Method vibrational scale to help people really see the impact of their emotions on their frequency, and then therefore what they are attracting back into their lives. And when they're doing that inner work like you do with your clients, how it transforms, being able to just use that validation with that tool to be able to go, oh wow, I've literally just changed my vibrational attraction point with the work that they've done with you.
Yeah
It's emotions, the feeling is the secret, as Neville Goddard says. It truly is. There's so much here, CJ. We'll have to get you to come back and to carry on the conversation. But just as a way of wrapping up, I'd love to know, what are the sort of top 3 tips that you'd like to share with other entrepreneurs in business?
I would say first and foremost, and I transparently am a work in progress on this one. But going back to the leaning into the feminine and, giving ourselves time to just be, I would say, it sounds like a meme, but enjoy the journey. Don't forget why you signed up to do this. And I actually like to give myself reminders and little notes to just have a little gratitude break throughout the day, because it's so easy, going back to the male energy, to get so caught up in the doing and the list for the day, and to forget to really enjoy what we're doing. And that is how we keep our frequency up. So frequent gratitude breaks, and really enjoying and remembering why we do what we do. Let's see. Then, we've talked about this, but trust yourself and your intuition before. Like, obviously, I firmly believe in getting coaches and mentors and investing in ourselves. And it's been a huge thing for my journey. But first and foremost, trust yourself and your intuition, because no one knows what's right for you at any particular time better than you do, or your higher consciousness does. So that's been a really big aha for me since I've come into your world, Louisa. That was a really big aha. And then again, as we've already talked about, but I just don't think it gets focused enough in business, that the real leverage and expansion comes through our relationships. So focus on the relationships.
I love that. So much wisdom there. I think you're absolutely right. We can almost make it more complicated than it needs to be if we aren't focusing on the relationships and really building those connections. So thank you for reminding everybody about just those key business principles that will help people to have that, that balance, as you so beautifully describe it, the yin and yang of business leadership. I just absolutely love it. CJ, thank you so much. Where can people learn more about your world? I know you've got your own podcast. Please do tell everybody about your podcast, how they can come and get more of you.
Awesome. Well, I'm all over the internet with just my name, CJ Rivard, most platforms. But the podcast is called The Inspired Wave, and you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, as well as all the listening platforms. And really, it is for conscious women who are heart-centered and want to make a bigger impact in the world. And we talk all things, and I have some amazing guest experts on, and it's a lot of fun. So I encourage you to look for us or listen for us at The Inspired Wave. And and then me, CJ Rivard. Yeah, thank you, Louisa.
Oh, thank you. And we'll pop the links in the show notes. There was a slight little glitch as you were sharing that. So just to make sure everyone heard, CJ's name for her podcast is The Inspired Wave. It's a podcast for conscious women with a big vision and desire to create that big impact across that wave across the universe. And CJ is on all the platforms. Thank you so much for your wisdom and time today, CJ. It's just been such a joy chatting with you.
Always great speaking with you, Louisa. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode. We'd love to hear your reflections on the yin and yang of business leadership, and to carry on the conversation, do come and join us in our Money Kinesiology for 6- and 7-figure CEOs on Facebook. Share your thoughts on our podcast conversation there. We would love to hear from you. Until our next episode, sending you all lots and lots of love. Thanks for listening to the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. And if you like what you've heard and want to know more, please go to louisahavers.com. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you for listening and hanging out with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can email us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Let my team know if you have any ideas for shows that you'd love to hear or topics you want me to talk about. Really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time, namaste.